Good afternoon. It is Friday. Oh, thank God it's Friday. I've been waiting for this day all week. It's been a busy week, but it's flown by. So I thought today what we'd do, we don't have a sponsor today, so it's just us. It's just you and me. And so I'm just gonna let you guys kind of ask questions. I think you should be in charge of the show today. We've had a great week of shows. Hey, Patrick. This has been the best week because I can't remember what day it was, but earlier this week we got to talk to veterans who were talking about PTSD. And if you're talking about getting real, that's what I'm talking about, is PTSD. I'm talking about stuff that really matters. I don't want to talk about murders. I think it's literally just it is, Patrick. I don't want to talk about the latest Trump or Bernie or whatever. I don't care. I like talking about life and seeing what happens with it. And I think you do too. That's the whole thing that's so cool. And one of the neat things that's going on is we're starting to get more and more sponsors because more and more people are. I called a local a food cart. I'm trying to set up something so we do food cart Fridays. So we'd introduce you to a new food cart on Fridays. And so I've been talking with the folks in the food cart world, and I just contacted one today. I'm not going to out them, but I'm trying to set one up for one of my other clients that wants to go there. And I said, yeah, this is who I am, this is what I do. And they came on and said, hey, Rick, we watch you all the time. We're big supporters. We love what you're doing. And what people love about this, it's not Rick Dancer. This is about you. When we had those veterans on, this is a guy I knew years ago from Salem, calls me and says, we have a local guy, Kevin Ross, and he had PTSD and he ended up taking his own life. And so these bikers came down. I have a sponsor that wants to sponsor that because they do vet loans for veterans. They're now signing up to be a 6-month sponsor, and they're going to do veteran shows. So we're bringing like real life to you. No bullshit. There's no bullshit here. And then yesterday was like the show that I dream of. That was full of surprises and full of things that I didn't expect and you didn't expect. So I knew what next step was. I knew they repaired electronics. Had no idea that people with different abilities were there. And then when you walk around, I was just grabbing people to talk about what this means in their life and what they're doing. And it was phenomenal because these are all people with different abilities. And one of the head people says, I have a mental disability and I'm the second in command here. And that people are that open and feel that good about talking. Don't you wish that everybody else was that open? That people could just take off the public relations and just be real people, and talk about things. And I think that's what people are starting to do. One of the best moments yesterday in the show was we had a guy from Holt International on, and I had no idea. I'm going to use the term I think is proper, but he's a little person. And we used to call that a dwarf or a midget, but I think the current term is little person, although he's a big guy in a little body. And literally he is probably 2 foot, maybe 2.5 foot tall. I've never seen anyone that short before. So before the show, I wanted to be sensitive to him. And I said, so is it appropriate for me to bend down and talk with you? And he goes, completely. And which was awesome because then I didn't tell any of you because there's no reason to bring it up. It's who he is. Why should I say, oh, now we're going to go talk to a little person? I mean, And so I just bent down, started chatting with this guy. And I had friends call me and go, I was totally surprised, Rick. It was just like totally shocked me because it was just being him. He was just being real and stuff. So those are the perfect shows. Those are the ones that... And I think they're going to get more and more like that because I think our clients are starting to learn what you guys are looking for. You don't want to be sold. You want to be told. You don't want to be talked at. You want to be talked with. And that's something that the media is not ever going to be able to do because they don't get it. They don't understand how that works. So they listen to people talk on television. And one of the things that we used to try to stay away from, at least I did, because consultants told me to, and then I learned from that, is don't say me. So when we come back, we'll have your forecast. Because after all, the reason you're doing a weather forecast is not, it's not my forecast. They always say, oh, I'll have my forecast in a minute. It's not your forecast. You're doing that for other people, or you should be. And so even the language goes back to its importance, self-importance. And I think what you have to learn is this is about bringing people together. And the media is losing its hold because they don't know how to do that. It's too much about sales. So what we try to do is just have clients that pay for the idea. They get to talk a little bit about what they do so you learn about them, because that's the value to them as well. But it also builds community at the same time, and I love that. And informing people on things that really matter, like depression, like PTSD, like suicide. I mean, those are sad topics, but you know what? If we don't talk about it, then people don't feel like they're okay. And if you have suicidal thoughts, you're okay. If you deal with depression, that doesn't make you weird. That makes you you. That event I'm putting together is all about unity in the community. Yeah, Patrick's putting on an event. Well, he's part of an event up the McKenzie River in Blue River on the 26th of August. It's already on my calendar. We'll be telling you more about that as we come up. We're going to have him come on a show, or some people. Going to be bands and food, and he'll explain more about that at another date and stuff like that. But see, that's Patrick and their family doing it. I think what sometimes we get locked into is we start thinking that somebody else is responsible for this. It's not their community, it's your community, it's our community. So if you can't rely on, I think we've become so independent as people that we've become so independent that we don't depend on people. I think it takes bigger balls to depend on someone else than it does to be independent. I think people who, and yet in culture, we say, oh, they're so independent. Well, I think that means they're lacking. I think if you don't depend on other people, then you are lacking. Because if we don't become interdependent on each other, then we're not community, and then we go holed up at home and don't get out there and get involved in stuff. And you have to, we have to share. Because if we don't share, then we don't really have anything to give away, and we don't have a community there. So I got to get back to work. Have a great day. Hey, Patrick, go cut some hair. Do your thing. So, hey, Brett, how are you? Yes, it isn't safe to depend on others. It's scary. It's really scary to drop your defenses and how cool you are. It's like standing, I always say it's like standing naked. If you took off all your clothes and stood in front of something, it's like, I've had some of my most excellent conversations with homeless people in the shower, naked at Willamette Lane. Because then it's just two people, nothing, I mean, there we are, and we're having this really interesting conversation. I'm not saying you have to go out and try it. I end up in that situation because Willamette Lane, I think it's a really cool thing, allows homeless folks to shower for 50 cents, I think it is, in the shower with us. And I meet some really cool people that way. But you also get the real story because there's nothing to hide behind. So I think, thanks, Rick. Love your message. You are truly what community represents. No, Amy, I think I'm just a catalyst. You know what I mean? But I thank you. I'm not trying to correct you. My wife told me a long time ago to stop. Because you try to be humble, and it's not, I'm not, I think it's amazing when you can strip yourself of class and have a talk with someone that comes from true humility. Yeah, Brett, you are 100% right. When you can look at people and ignore their imperfections and stop judging them, and you know what? I think what's really good is what happens to a lot of people, a lot of us, is we become so fixated and judgmental and really the insecurity goes back to us. We think we have to be perfect. I wonder if I could do this. I have a great example, but I'm kind of afraid. Hey, Aaron, love your kid. So let's just say on a certain morning I was sitting out having a cup of coffee, and a person comes by, and this person is very anal. And I start making some fun comments with my friend, and we're having this comment. Totally gets uncomfortable and walks away like it's just like it's beneath this person. And see, and I could take that on if I wanted to, but I'm not going to take it on because it's not my problem. It's her problem. And she, you know, because she is so insecure and afraid of what people might think of her outside that box, she can hardly go in there and do her thing. You know what I'm going to do for the Eclipse, Jason? Jason just came on and said you should attend the Oregon Eclipse Festival. This is what I'm trying to work out. So unfortunately, I have a group of clients from a year and a half ago who don't understand the concept that when someone does work for you, then you have to pay them. I know, it's a novel idea. So they've stiffed me for like a year and a half, so I have to take them to court. Small claims court. So I'm not even going to get everything that they owe me, actually, but I want to get something because I did the work. And so anyway, I had to reschedule around them, and the new court date is on the 21st. And so I think I'm going to ask the court to change the date, because what I want to do is I'm not going to tell you where, because then I'm going to have a crowd. But there's a lookout tower out in the middle of nowhere in the McKinsey, up in the McKinsey, and I think my photographer friend Matt Fidel and I are going to go up there, spend the night on Sunday night, and then get up in the morning and see this thing. But we're going to live in the woods to see this. And so see, I know then it's like, oh God, I gotta cancel this, because part of me just, I want my frickin' money. And I've been waiting a year and a half. But then the other part of me is like, God, how can you miss out on something like that? Hey, Mark, you know, I can't. So I'll probably just ask for a postponement, and they'll be fine with it. I called the court and everything like that. Yeah, I mean, you know, and then we're going to be on the line of it, so we should be able to see some of that stuff. I don't know what the rest of you guys are doing for Eclipse, but it's kind of fun. I remember the last time this happened, that I remember this happening like this, was when I was in college at Portland Community College in Portland. Gosh, I was 19 or something, and I remember it went dark. It was like dark for, you know, a few minutes, and then it got light again like that. So, you know, I think that's kind of fun and kind of cool. But anyway, back to our community conversation. I think what people will do is put their insecurities on you when you are free. People crave freedom. And I'm not talking about the political freedom. This isn't about politics. I'm talking about real freedom where you are free. And there's always someone out there wanting to put a chain on you, wanting to reconnect you to something that you're disconnecting from. And I think a lot of people in communities like that deal with depression, that deal with issues, that deal with PTSD, that feel like that, they really are, I get so much out of listening to them, and maybe that's my problem. You know, maybe I'm more like them than I am like whatever a neuronormal is. The older I get, the more I find my dysfunctions are my gift. The things in me that are screwed up are my gift. It makes it so that I can relate to you, because I'm not, because none of us is perfect. There's a bunch of people trying to pretend they are and putting on the right image. But image is just bullshit. We need to spend more time thinking than we do covering. I was born free, though many have tried, and yes, I even allow people to put chains on me no more. Freedom is amazing and a gift, no question. I agree with Jarl so much. And that can be family, that can be employers, that can be customers. My dysfunctions are my gift. You're helping, thank you. Rachel, welcome to the world of dysfunction. You are invited in. There's nothing better than standing next to a veteran with PTSD, with your arm around him, and letting him just cry. I got in after that show the other day with the Rosses and the motorcycle group who are riding this weekend, and I got in my car and I cried all the way back to work. And it felt so good. It felt so good to feel something real, you know? I mean, I think there's so many made up feelings we have. We go to a movie and we feel something, or we hear a song and we feel something. And I'm not saying those aren't real, but I mean, it's just kind of weird. Is this weird? This might be weird. And I don't take this the wrong way, but I don't think pain is bad. To me, I feel something when I feel pain, whether that's for me or for other people. And so I think sometimes we, look at our culture, how many, we have pain relievers. We have pills to take so that we don't feel like it. Now we have marijuana we can smoke so we can just escape in the world. We have alcohol. And I'm not saying I haven't done some of those things to escape. But I'm saying, what's wrong with like really feeling something to the point of where it kind of hurts with people? I have a lady at the gym today, and she said her mom's 89 and she's dying, and she's saying to her, she's in pain, and she's saying, why am I still here? And she says all of her friends from her faith are going, well, there must be a reason. And don't say that to people. There's a reason for everything. Maybe there is, I don't know, but that doesn't help. Oh, yeah, you're 89 and you're in pain and you're suffering on a bed and you just want to die. But there's a reason for this. I mean, that doesn't help. Instead, you just kind of hold them and help out and doing your thing. With a good workout, you are technically tearing your muscles apart. Oh, Jarl, that was really good. That is true. It's not bad. It's for me. Yes, I get tattooed every year. The pain it makes me feel. It's the only thing I feel. Oh, Rachel, that's pretty deep. Jarl, I missed what you were saying, but I think I get what you're saying because I know you're a workout freak like me. Yeah, when think about life, when you tear things up, when things get torn up in you, when you're going to build up muscle, you have to tear it down. And then you feed it properly, and then it builds, and then you do that again. That's really the picture of life. I mean, if you want to get, what is the word? If you want to get sloppy and, sullen and useless and not, just don't do anything. I think getting involved with community is another way of building things up. So you tear down your own ability to be an individual and you become part of a group effort. So that takes tearing things down. It's that way with relationships, that's the way with friendships. It's that way all around. And so I think the key to this, Jarl, that's really good. You're awesome. That was a very good analogy. Is if you're going to grow, things have to die. I mean, I think that's the best thing that happened in my life was getting cancer. Was quitting my job at KZI because it was killing me, but it was comfortable. I was getting a lot of perks and benefits and money and a check from somebody signed, that I didn't have to work for. It was really like I do now. And by quitting there, then running for office and losing, humiliating to me. It was a statewide race. It's embarrassing when you spend that much time and you lose, and then starting your own business and struggling to get that moving. And now finally I kind of hit my rhythm where I know what I'm doing, where this is, Facebook Live is bringing people to the table. It's kind of connecting a world. It's, honestly, and I don't mean this in a braggy way at all, but it's just me. It's me. This is, and that's why it's working, is because I'm just being Rick Dancer. And I get some emails where somebody says, you said asshole or something on there. And I'm going, well, you know what? Sorry. But it's get real. And I'm not doing it for effect. I'm just not going to be overly cautious about how I word things. And if that makes people uncomfortable, that's fine. Because here's the thing. I think if you and me and all of us start doing this, and we practice, and we learn how to talk to people, and we learn how to include people, and we learn when we walk up to a little person not to freak out, and we learn that when someone has a disability that we give them value by listening and by paying attention and by putting them on here, that then all of a sudden it becomes normal. And it would be a perfect world if there was no more normal. If everything normal just went away and everything become abnormal. Because isn't a good day when you don't have everything? I mean, I'm a little Asperger-y, so I like things planned out. But I have to admit, a good day is when I get surprised and things come flying in. And it's like a dance. It's like this dance in life where, and I think that to me, that's how Jehovah, that's the surprise of life. If you plan too much, then all of a sudden everything becomes rigid and you get to the end of the day and what do? You go, oh, well, there, I was successful. I finished my day. Woo! That was fun. But when you allow for the moments that you don't expect, that's the rich stuff. And so that's why I think yesterday's show was so much fun for me. If you didn't see it, go back and look at it. It was that next step. Because the whole thing was a big surprise. And I felt like I was a kid at Christmas. And it was really fun, really effective. Century Lighting was my client, and they set some of the stuff up, and I set some of the stuff up. But I think we even surprised them a little bit. So it was fun. If we learned how to care about others again. Yeah, and you know what, Andrea? I'd say if we learn to care less about ourselves, and I know that's not current pop culture, it's like take care of yourself. I'm the first one to agree. You take care of yourself, you go to therapy, you get yourself, your head together, you do those things, but not so that you feel better, but so that you can be more effective at allowing other people to be themselves. I think for me, I've been to therapy, and it's awesome. I love it. I think it's great. But my best therapy is you. It's when I get out there and meet somebody who challenges, when I begin to see that I'm as weird as the people around me, it helps me better understand what this whole thing is all about. And the more time I spend time with my psychotic friends, I realize that I'm a little bit psychotic, and it feels good. When I'm around people with different abilities, I think I feel better. I start seeing, oh my God, that's Rick, that's a part of you. Do you know you do that? I was downtown the other day with this guy who, I love him to death. I just met him, and he's got some mental stuff going on and some things like that. And but when we sit together, it's just him. It's just John and Rick. I mean, it's just the two of us. I'm gonna hop back in the pool. Okay, all right, Lindsay. It's just the two of us. And we were down there the other day, and this lady was singing, and we were trying to have a conversation. And he looks at me. So he's the guy with the alleged dysfunction, right? And he says, "You look distracted." I said, "I am. What is it?" And he goes, "It's her singing." And I went, "Yeah, it's irritating me." And he's going, "Me too." And all of a sudden I looked at him and I went, "Oh, okay." This is just normal. But he's helping me to see the difference in how I am versus the world. Does that make sense? So anyway, well, I'm going to go have lunch with a friend of mine over at the beer garden, at the food courts over there and stuff. We got some really fun shows planned for you next week. A new client is the 6th Street Bar and Grill. They're opening the whiskey bar. The old restaurant section, they're making into a whiskey bar. So we're going to go there with my friend Carlos from Brinker's Restoration Services. And then on Wednesday, I'm still trying to find a food cart. I think I may have the answer here for Katie Hallert, our realtor friend who is one of our sponsors. And then on Thursday, we're going to go to Chow over in Springfield. Mitchell just did a month-long, maybe 6-week-long renovation of the restaurant. And so we're going to go over there. Sean Vieira from the Pearl Day Spa is also another sponsor of our show. He and I are going to go over there, have lunch, introduce you to Mitchell, introduce you to Chow, so give you some new places to eat. And on Friday, I am doing crap. I'm actually going to Portland because we're going up to Mount Hood for the weekend next weekend. So, oh, guess what? You know what's kind of cool? Except we don't have anything to do this weekend. Is on Sunday is my wife's and my 34th wedding anniversary. So we've been married 34 years, known each other 38. And our wedding anniversary. But what I love about my wife is we have stuff planned all month on weekends except for this weekend. But we're just not locked into a date. We'll find something to do, to celebrate that too. But we've got so much stuff going on over the next couple months that it's like, thank you, Amy, that we don't we don't have to go do those things that we used to have to do to celebrate stuff like that. Because really, an anniversary isn't about what you do, it's about the two of us. And that we've been able to stick this thing out for 34 years. And sometimes that's what it was just sticking it out. You know, I mean, that's kind of what marriage is. It's two people thrown together, and you love each other, but you have to figure out how to like each other too. And sometimes I don't think she likes me very much. I'm not the easiest guy. You guys may think so because we're on here, but I can be a pain in the ass too. So anyway, thank you, Jarl. Yeah, it is tough work sometimes. All right, so you guys join us next week. Have a great weekend. Go out and love somebody, you know? I mean, go ask somebody a question. When you're walking down the street, just smile at somebody. Acknowledge people. Let them know that they matter. And what ends up happening is you kind of figure out that you might matter too. All right, great. And you don't have to spread this or share this with anybody. It's just you and me. That's the beauty of the days when we don't have a sponsor too. I love doing my sponsors and I love doing my show, but sometimes it's just nice to talk to you guys and not have to have an agenda. So today was a non-agenda Friday. And go to my Facebook page, go down there and look at the picture, because I put a picture on that's getting a lot of response, and it's I sat on some of those big balls at the gym that I actually do a workout on those balls, and I said some days it takes two really big balls to do a workout. And I think life is like that too. Some days you have to have really big balls to do this thing called life. And to love people takes huge kahunas, because if you got shriveled up testicles, it ain't gonna happen. And that has nothing to do with male, female. I think you know the analogy. Don't get wrapped up on it. You said balls, tee-hee-hee. Yep, I did. So anyway, grow a pair and go do something for people. Grow a pair and go love people. You know what I mean? And not in that way. Well, you can, but make sure that you know it's someone you're connected. I better stop. I'm going to get myself in big trouble.